Over recent months, there's been a lot of noise around RCS with Apple joining Google and offering interoperability. Why so much happening in the RCS space now? It's been around for 10 years or so already.
Well, really the situation is for several years, Android has been upgrading the phones to be RCS-ready. And now we have a good amount of person-to-person chatter happening over RCS.
Yep.
With the Apple announcement, you suddenly get all the iMessage users,
Yep.
tens and tens of millions RCS interoperable. And you now have a market where you can do RCS and send business messaging traffic with that technology.
So there's some real network effects going on there. How's that going to impact the overall telecoms ecosystem?
Well, RCS is highly capable. It's rich media, so you're basically taking the subscribers and the evolution from talking for voice calls to typing text messages to tapping on chips and carousels. So it's much more powerful with security built in from the beginning. I think we're going to find that the brands far prefer that channel to the older ones, including the fact it's more secure. And users are looking for something they can trust again, and it has the ingredients for that to happen.
And then focusing specifically on business, what are the advantages of RCS business messaging?
Well, so you can engage in a much richer, what people have called in 2016, conversational commerce. Maybe we're going to get there now with RCS coming in volume in certain key markets. That'll be the test base for, are these carousels and chips really helping people to buy or make arrangements for the theater, or group chatting and having calendars organized all automatically using the RCS buttons that are presented to them.
So that's interesting. Can you expand on some of the other things that really set RCS apart from other messaging platforms that might be out there?
Yeah, so I will go with security and how that is dealt with in RCS right from the ground up in the standards. The connection is authenticated the same way you would authenticate a shortcode connection, which is purpose-built for a particular brand to communicate on. So they're leveraging that lesson from the past, that shortcodes is more protected than regular texting with an alphanumeric name or a telephone number. You are able to encrypt the channel, so there can be no eavesdropping and your privacy is protected. And you also verify the sender with rigorous processes that combine with the fact they have to authenticate a special connection where you now know the result of that verification and can present to the user the logo of the brand, a check mark to indicate it's verified. So there's that trust, implicit trust, frankly, explicit trust conveyed to users, which you could never do with text messages.
Can you drill a little more into how the phone number fits into that customer experience?
Yeah, so the phone number is really important. I think the industries at large that use communications have come to recognize that the phone number is the primary form of digital identity for the person, for the customer or prospect. And equally, when a business is communicating commercial texting, they are using a phone number. That is the identity they show. So it's very important that the phone number has signals that can be retrieved to indicate whether that's a hijacked number at the moment or entirely spoofed number, or it's really legitimate and it belongs to the sender, right? So you will know that whether it's the consuming side, the end user, or the business side sending, you can understand they're legitimate if you use these signals in the telecom network.
Yes, I mean that authentication and legitimacy is very beneficial. Can you expand a little on how that helps a digital transformation and how it enhances security for consumers?
Well, so digital transformation is basically doing business without brick and mortar, right?
Yeah.
The person's not there. You don't see them. You can't ask for their license if they're trying to charge a credit card, right? So you need to have these signals you can use to build a confidence score, so to speak, of I believe I can take business from this person who I don't even see. They're at more than arm's length away, and they're legitimate, and they're not being spoofed. They're not being impersonated. And you can do that. And similar, the business is coming across as fully authentic to the customer, the end user, and they can do this conversational commerce and feel comfortable tapping something that doesn't have a malicious link embedded inside. We'll be asking them for money, taking personal information. They can trust that that'll be done in a secure way with the right brand, the brand they think it is, compared to traditional forms of texting.
Yeah, that's a really interesting and compelling view of on what a future integrated communications world might look like. So what's iconectiv doing in the RCS space?
Yeah, I'm glad you're asking that. So we are deeply involved in the verification of the sender, as it's called in the standard, but fundamentally the brand, that they are verified, that they confirm authority of the enabler system to represent them and their logo and present it to end users. And we tokenize that with a cryptographic proof that they have been vetted, so that every operator that will accept that brand's traffic understands it's been vetted by iconectiv. If should they want it to say verified by telco name,
Yeah.
perfectly fine. Otherwise, it'll say verified by iconectiv, and people will start to recognize that as well as they do VeriSign, right, for e-commerce transactions. So we're doing that, and of course, we are deeply involved in signals for the telephone number. So if you want to do additional what we call identity proofing, you can use telephone signals from iconectiv to understand that brand's number, if they're using a number, is correct, or that person, of course they're on a number, is correct to the brand.